Hi, I'm Tom, and welcome to Cook TV. First time we made a video in a little while. Well, I've made a video in a little while. Ideally, for this topic, I wanted to wait until I had either Steve or Tom to discuss it with me. However, I haven't made one in a while, so I thought I'd do it now. I'm going to discuss part of the American election, well, the entire American general election today. Takes place November the 8th, which is next month, almost a month today. Month and 2 days, something like that. 3 days, even. And essentially, now we've had the first presidential debate, the first vice presidential debate, and the media backlash from both of them has been interesting. First debate, I watched in my politics class the day after, the Tuesday. And everyone kept mentioning how much Donald Trump was interrupting Hillary Clinton. I think he did about 70 odd times. But today, the American debate was last night for British people, and today I watched the debate this morning when I woke up, and the Republican National Committee counted how many times Tim Kaine, who's the Democratic Vice President, Hillary Clinton's running mate, interrupted Trump's running mate 72 times. So there's a bit of a double standard in the media there, showing that Trump interrupted Hillary 70 times, he's such a monster, blah blah blah, but not saying anything about Tim Kaine interrupting Mike Pence 72 times. It was an alright debate, other than that. They had the emails and Trump's tax returns. Better than the presidential debate, I will say that. They had a lot more class about them most of the time. Better than the presidential debate. However, there is still one key thing missing. Gary Johnson and his VP Bill Weld, I can't say his name. Obviously, Bill Weld, I'm going to call Weld from now on, won't have an opportunity to have a VP debate, because that was their only VP debate. But there are still two presidential debates left. There are over 1 million signatures on the main petition to get Gary Johnson into debate. And nothing's been done about it. They said that in order to debate, you'd have to be at 15% in the polls. And before the debate, before September, he was. Since the debate, a lot of the undecideds have gone one way or the other. I have the polling here. Trump today, article from CNN today. Trump's at 45%, Hillary's at 43%, and Johnson's dropped down to 7%. If they'd let Gary Johnson vote in the original, debate originally, he wouldn't have seen this drop. He would have seen a huge rise, because that first presidential debate was such a poor performance from the two of them, that Johnson could have just stood there and said very little and probably still would have won the debate. Because he has he's made three big glaring mistakes, and that is the tongue incident. I'll link if I can find the video, I'll link it down below, where he has some sort of spasm mid interview and starts talking with his tongue out, which was embarrassing. You have the Aleppo moment where he didn't know what Aleppo was. And you have the foreign leader's gaffe, where he couldn't even say it foreign leader. And something else came out in the news today. He said that he couldn't invade countries he didn't know the names of, so trying to put himself as a better commander-in-chief. He said a commander-in-chief can't bomb countries he doesn't know the name of, or something stupid like that. And you're thinking, for crying out loud, man, come on, you can walk this election if you really wanted to. I was going to outline some of Gary Johnson's policy proposals. It's essentially scale down the military, scale down big government, cut government spending, minimalise the tax code. They do expand on it. Right, let's look at taxes then. I'm on my laptop, which is a bit shaky. be a video. Okay. So essentially, he wants to eliminate special interest tax loopholes, get rid of double taxation on small businesses, normal sort of conservative economics. It's essentially what he goes for. So the normal cut government spending, cut social. I don't think he's said anything about cutting social security yet. But the difference between the Libertarian Party in America is that, in a nutshell, they are socially liberal and economically conservative. So you have the sort of perfect mixture of the two. So for people like me, who are socially liberal, pro-gay rights, pro-life, not sorry, pro-choice, less, more in, what's the word? Isolationist military policy, stuff like that. But more on the conservative side for economics, it's sort of the perfect party. But there is a major argument in America saying that they'll never get in, which is false. It's a falsehood, because Abraham Lincoln was a third-party candidate. He was the candidate for the Republican Party, which was a third party at the time. They'd never won the presidency, and he was their first president. So there is precedent of the matter of a third party getting into the White House. In the 90s, there was another one who nearly got in, but he dropped out the race. For the life of me, I can't remember his name right now. And essentially, it's not impossible. And if the one electoral map that I've seen, one of the electoral maps I've seen is correct, he will actually stop anyone winning the presidency. You need 200. The way America works is that each state has a number of electoral college votes, and then these people are like delegates. They then, you have one delegate from each state who then go and cast their votes in the electoral college for president, and you need 270 to win. And the last one this one I saw had Clinton having 267 votes, Donald Trump 265 votes, and Gary Johnson at 5. So he had stopped either of them winning the presidency. In this case, what would happen is that it would go to another vote in the electoral college, where the delegates are unbound. Like in the conventions, at the second round of voting, you don't have to vote for you wouldn't have to vote for who you were sent there to vote for, if that makes sense. In the primaries, you'd have delegates for each candidate, even if the candidate dropped out. So in this, it could work that way. Say some Trump voters, college electoral voters, might then go and vote for Clinton, and vice versa. And Gary Johnson's one might leave him entirely. Or they might all vote Gary Johnson, which is unlikely, but I'm pretty sure it can still be done. There is another election in America going on that day that is overshadowed by the presidential debate, the presidential one. That is that all congressmen are up for re-election, all of them, and 35 Senate seats are up for election. So what we could see in a hypothetical situation is a libertarian president of America, and this is a dream scenario basically. This is a scenario that I would like to see play out, just because I'm interested. A libertarian president of America in Gary Johnson, a Democratic House of Representatives, because all of the House seats are up for grabs, and a Republican Senate. They would keep control of the Senate. That I think would be interesting, because you'd have 3 different parties in the 3 branches, in the executive branch and the two executive branches, legislative branches. So you'd have 3 parties having to work together, and I mean, it wouldn't be very good for America, probably. I mean, the Republicans have a track record of not working well with other parties. The Democrats, on the other hand, have a record of working rather well with other parties. But it would be interesting. How I personally think the election is going to work out is that I think that Hillary Clinton has dug herself too deep a hole to jump out of. I think it's going to be close. And it could go either way easily, but there is such an anti-establishment wave going across the world. You see that with the rise of Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party over here, Britain leaving the EU, the rise of the far right in other countries, the fall of the Venezuelan government, you just have this rise of anti-governmental feeling and anti-establishment feeling. So in any other election, Hillary Clinton has been the First Lady of Arkansas, First Lady of America, a Senator, a Secretary of State, a constitutional lawyer, all this would be a dream candidate for any party. They would just push her into the limelight. But in this election, where you have the rise of the anti-establishment, I think that she might falter under Donald Trump's, just Donald Trump being the embodiment of the government anti-establishment, not the wealthy anti-establishment, because he's very much of that establishment, but the political establishment. And I think that he might actually do okay now at the next debate, because he has Nigel Farage, who, people might hate him, people might love him, but you can't escape the fact that he's a good debater. He's good at talking, he's good at discussing, and he's going up to coach Donald Trump, so Donald Trump might just get away with it and win next debate and go on to win the presidency. Do I think that would be good for America? No. Do I think a Clinton administration would be much better? No. A libertarian administration would be best. It's truest to the founding father principles of small government, a small central government, more rights to the states and stuff like that, whereas Clinton is so authoritarian and Donald Trump just has no policy positions. But I think that a Trump presidency might be what's next for America, especially after the performance as a VP. May I add that Mike Pence performed really well. In other news, before I sign off, today the news broke that Nigel Farage is coming back as UKIP leader. I personally think that that's at the end of a vicious circle, and Stephen Wolf should become UKIP leader. I think that he'd be better than the person who's just left, Diane James, who's resigned 18 days after taking the job. And I think that Nigel Farage is playing a dangerous game coming back. The Conservative conference ended today. I haven't had a chance to watch Theresa May's speech yet. I'm going to go watch it after this video. And Labour are now less popular than they were under Michael Foot, who had a popularity rating of -100. So, it's turbulent times in politics. In addition, we'll be leaving the EU by March 2019. We're triggering Article 50 at the end of March 2017. And, it's going to be an interesting time. Yeah. I think that's about it. So, essentially, Clinton is awful, Trump is awful. I was asked by one of my law teachers, quite shockingly, "You're not voting for Clinton?" Like, as in, I was supposed to vote for Clinton. No, is the short answer. I think, in all seriousness, that she is a traitor to her country. I think that it's an idiot, in different ways to Donald Trump, in the sense of senile idiot, like technologically inept, like most old people, without being mean, is that they don't necessarily get emails. So it's sort of understandable her mistake, but she has a track record now of deleting classified emails, or confidential emails, whichever one or two they were. And obviously there's the Benghazi incident, which I know it's a very strict Republican talking point, but Greenslade, who comes on here, he's a Trotskyist, and he has the same, problem with Clinton, is that she's too corrupt. Benghazi was a massive issue, and she failed to deal with it, costing the lives of American servicemen. And the emails. And before that, before Monday and revelations of this week, I was reluctantly supporting Trump-ish, in the sense that if I was forced to vote between Trump and Hillary, I would have gone Trump. But the revelations that he hasn't paid taxes for 20 years, and his loss of $1 billion, has really driven me to be staunchly anti-Trump. Because if it's one pet hate for me, and politicians especially, It's politicians who don't pay their taxes. Yeah, I think that's about it. A little tirade against Trump and Clinton there. So, thanks for watching, and this weekend I'll be filming more videos with Steve. We've already got some sorted. We have a small plan for something to do next time we're free as well, that we'll see if Steve can walk you guys through. Until then, bye.